Hey, my name is Brittany Bryden. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. Today's class is going to be all about the core. The only prop that you need is your yoga mat and you're good to go. I did make a fun 90s R&B playlist if you want to have something on the background while you move. The link is in the box below. Play it now and let's get going. So you're going to roll up your yoga mat and then you're going to come down and bring your shoulder blades onto the roll. So from here, you're gonna bend your knees, set your feet down on the mat about hip distance apart. And then first, I just want you to find that posterior tilt with the pelvis. So what I mean by that is I want you to envision like you're tucking under with the pelvis. And just that simple action, you might feel the low ribs come towards those frontal hip bones to turn on the core. Now you're gonna take your hands behind the back of the head and try not to lose that work that you have here. We're just gonna go through some spinal extension work and some flexion work to get the spine warmed up. So the hands are behind the back of the head. You can take the elbows wide or you can bring the elbows in. But as you do that, or as you do this exercise, try to bring your chin in towards your chest instead of pushing the chin towards the ceiling. So you're gonna take a nice big inhale, breathe through the ribs, the back. Now when you exhale, you're gonna let the head fall into the hands and nice and slow, let the head fall towards the ground without driving your rib cage forwards. And then you're gonna roll yourself back up. Take an inhale, and then on the exhale, the head is falling in towards the hands, moving the head towards the ground, and then draw yourself back up. Take the breath in here, and then exhale, letting the head go back, and then inhale coming up. And then one more time, exhale, letting the head go back. Now as you come back up, you're gonna keep that posterior tilt with the pelvis. Again, whether you want the elbows wide or in, that's totally up to you. You're gonna take your feet off the ground. So you're gonna bring your shins parallel towards the ceiling, knees are tracking over top of the hips, and find that brace in through your core. Now on your next inhale, you're gonna hinge from your left hip, lower the heel down to a tap, and then your exhale is gonna bring your leg back up. Inhale, lower your right heel. Exhale, draw it up. Inhale, left. Exhale, pull it up. Inhale, right. Exhale, bring it up. So you're gonna do a couple more just on your own, taking it nice and slow. Trying not to shift into that anterior tilted pelvis. Keep that slight tuck. One more time on each side. And then set the feet down on the mat, hip distance apart, and you're gonna do what we did before. Take that breath in, and as you exhale, letting the head fall towards the ground. Inhale to roll yourself up. And exhale, lower it down. Inhale, draw it up. And then exhale, lower. And then inhale, pull yourself up. Exhale, bring your feet off the ground, shins parallel to the ceiling. And we're gonna do what we did before. Lower the left heel down, and then pull it up. Right heel, bring it up. Keep going. And taking your gaze forwards, but lifting the gaze up. So not directly forwards, that you're pulling the chin in. You wanna find a lot of room for that breath. Starting to feel it. Couple more. Fire in the belly. And then set your feet down on the mat, hip distance apart. One more round, take that breath in. Exhale, let the head fall back. Inhale, roll yourself up. And then exhale, lower back. Pull yourself up. And then let the head fall back. And then lifting the chest up. One more time, feet off the ground, shins parallel to the ceiling. And start with those heel taps. It's going at your pace. One more time on each side. And then set the feet down. Woo! Roll over onto your left side. So you're gonna leave the mat where it is. Reach that left arm underneath you and rest your head onto the left arm. So your knees are bent, knees in line with the hips, keeping that right hip tracking over top of the left and big toes together. Now your right hand's gonna come behind the back of the head, and then you're gonna lift yourself up. So lift the torso up and then feel like you're trying to bring that right elbow towards the right hip, and then you're gonna lower yourself back down. We'll do that again. Lift yourself up, bring the right elbow to the right hip, and then lower. 3 more. Lift up, and then lower. Up for 2, and then lower down. Now you're gonna lift up and pause there. So you're gonna keep your feet together. Now lift both heels up towards the ceiling. Try to bring that right elbow closer to the right hip. Set the feet down, and then lower down, left ear to left shoulder. Now lift yourself up, right elbow to right hip. Spin the feet up towards the ceiling. Set the feet down, and then lower down. So putting those together. So lift up, right elbow to right hip, feet up to the ceiling, and then lower down. Up for 3, and then lower. Up for 2, lower down, and then 1 more. Lift up, hold, and then lower. Oof. So you're gonna bring your back onto the mat again. Feet on the mat, hip distance apart, hands behind the back of the head, and you're gonna lift the chest up, find that posterior tilt with the pelvis. And now you're gonna twist your chest towards the left. So you're gonna bring that left elbow towards the right knee, twist to the left, and then set the foot down, chest back to center. Twist over the right, left elbow, right knee, and then set it down. Twist over to the left, set it down, and back to the right. Set it down. So be mindful that you're not driving the ribs forwards. You're gonna keep going side to side. For 4, 3, 2, and then 1 more. All right, so now roll over into your right side. So right arm underneath the ear, knees bent in line with the hips. Big toes together, left hand behind the back of the head. Let your right ear fall towards the right shoulder, and starting with just the torso, that lateral flexion. So lift the chest up, bringing that left elbow towards the left hip, and then roll yourself back down. Curl yourself up, left elbow to left hip, and then lower. Lifting up, and then lower down. 2 more, lift up, and then lower. Now you're gonna lift up and pause there. Feet stay together, but spin both heels up towards the ceiling, trying to bring that right elbow closer, left elbow towards the left hip. Set the feet down, and then lower down. Again, like that. So you're gonna lift the chest up first, bring that left elbow to the left hip. Now spin the heels up towards the ceiling. Set the feet down, and then lower. Piecing it together, so lifting up together, and then lower. 3 more like that. Lifting up, and then lower down. 1 more time. You're gonna lift up and hold, and then set it down. Coming onto your backs again. Hands behind the back of the head. Find that posterior tilt with the pelvis. And then this time feet off the ground, shins parallel to the ceiling. Now you're gonna pull that right elbow towards the left knee, keeping the legs lifted, twisting with the chest, and then back to center. Twist to the right, left elbow to the right knee, and then back to center. Over to the left, to center, and then to the right. So as we do a few more here, you have the option to straighten the opposite leg for a bicycle, and then bring yourself to center, and then twist. Keep going, whichever variation you're doing. Whew. 4, 3, 2, and then one more. And set your feet down onto the ground. Use your hands to lift yourself up. Whew. And then you're going to turn over onto your stomachs. So as you come onto your stomachs, just take that mat out in front of you. You're going to lower onto the belly. Press the tops of feet on the floor. So your feet are either going to be hip distance apart or going to take your arms wider. Your hands are going to come onto the mat roll. Your forehead is down onto the floor. Now from here, you're going to keep pressing the feet into the ground and then start to lift your chest up. So lifting the chest forwards and up, press the pinky fingers into the ground, and then you're going to lower yourself back down. So pressing the pinky fingers into the mat, press the feet in the floor, make sure your glutes are engaged as you lift the chest up. You can take the gaze forwards and then lower back down. Again, press the hands into the mat, lift the chest forwards and up. Now from here, leave the left arm where it is. Reach your right arm out to the right side until you reach the arm back. Then take the arm out to the side, reaching your right arm forwards, setting the hand down onto the mat, lower the head to the floor. And then lifting the chest up. Right arm stays where it is, reach your left arm up, reach your arm out to the side until you reach back. And then reach to the side, forwards, hand to the mat, and then lower. And then lifting the chest up. Right arm reaches up. Reach your arm to the side. Reach it back. Reach it to the side. Forwards. Hand on the mat, and then lower. Left arm lifts. Lift the chest. Reach your arm to the side. Reach it back. Out to the side. Forwards, and then lower down. Now this time, lift the chest up, reach both arms off the mat, and then taking the arms out to the side, reaching back, palm of the hands face one another like you have a block in between the palm of the hands, and then take the arms out to the side, doing that big circle, reaching the arms forwards, hands back to the mat roll, and then lower down. Oh, one more time like that. Now lift the chest, lift the arms. Open up until you reach back, palm of the hands face one another, and then off to the side. Reach it forwards. Set the hands down onto the floor. Press your hips back. Bum towards the heels, child's pose. Just spend a few breaths here. Coming forwards in a table. Shoulders over top of the wrist, knees hip distance apart, and just move through a few cat-cows. And just noticing how that movement feels through the spine, the diaphragm, the belly. One more round. And then find your neutral spine. It's going to bring your mat a little closer to you. Keep it rolled up. Your elbows are going to come onto the mat. Hands together in prayer, and you're going to lower your chest down towards the floor. So you're sending your bum back, and you can either leave the hands reaching the ceiling, or you're going to start to reach your arms back. Walk your elbows forwards about an inch, and then I want you to envision like you're trying to pull your armpits to the ground. Get that nice opening through your triceps, the chest, shoulders. And feel that breath really fill up through the ribs, the back. And then nice and slow coming out of that. And you can sit on the heels or you can sit on your mat. Just reach both arms up towards the ceiling. Take your hands behind the back of the head, elbows wide, draw the ribs in. You're just going to lean over to the right. Get that stretch to the side. And come back to center and then lean over to the left. And then come back to center. Both arms reach up towards the ceiling. Right hand on the floor behind you or on the low back. Take your left hand to the outside of the right leg. Send the crown of the head up and then add in a twist. Look back over top of the right shoulder. And come into center, both arms up. Changing sides. Right hand to the outside of the left leg. Left hand on the floor behind you. And then look back over top of the left shoulder. And then come back to center. Thank you so much for moving with me today. Hope to see you again real soon. Always be humble and be kind. Namaste.